friends. Welcome to Sky House Herbs podcast. I'm Ashley Ellenvoss, a clinical herbalist, and in this space, I share my knowledge and experience with plant medicine to help you on your own journey of healing and transformation. Join me in exploring the ancient wisdom of plant spirit medicine and how it can be used to heal the body, mind, and spirit. We'll talk to experts in the field and share stories from people who've been transformed by powerful plant allies. New episodes are released each Monday, so please subscribe. And now, let's explore this mystical world of plant medicine together. All right, friends, welcome in. This is our 7th Gentle Friday, which is pretty amazing. On the one hand, amazing that we've been gathering weekly for 7 weeks, and also amazing that the tragedy that it's been 7 weeks that we've been living in less steady times, at least here in the United States. But I have to say, it's now at this point, it's definitely global, with some really big outer planetary transits happening. And a lot of unrest. And so I think the need for these Gentle Fridays, I think they've filled a need, at least for me personally, and I think for many of you, to have a gentle, quiet space where we're kind of gathered in a warm kitchen around a central fire, and that there is really nothing being asked of us in these Gentle Friday spaces. You don't have to do anything. There's nothing more. And that's quite a relief to just be in real time with real people, talking about real things that are happening in real time. So yeah. So to Jenny's question about Thor, yes, Thor did poop in Adam's car on the way home from his neuter surgery. So I have to say, like, sometimes animals come into our lives, and I'm actually going to be speaking. The reading from today's book is Destiny. And I feel like sometimes animals and children come into our lives for reasons of destiny. And Thor's destiny is to be gross. Like he is just slobbery and drooly, and his eyes are all messed up with surgeries, and he just barfs and poops. And it's just like, okay, like I glorify animals. To me, I'm very romantic about animals, which is why I want to farm with animals. And then we get Thor, and it's like, oh, wait, animals are that too. So sometimes the universe places animals and children into our lives to remind us of the very physicality and grossness that they bring in as well. Yeah, that's right, Darcy, the hammer of chaos. That's right. So, but we welcome him, and he's part of the family. So he gets a space at the table too. Grossness and bodily functions get a space at the table too. All right. So, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Emily. Yeah. And animals remind us of that physicality, right? And the coming and going, their lives, most pets' lives are not as long as human lives. And so we just see they're so present. And he was playing with his toy as happy as can be. And then all of a sudden, that sound, you all know that sound that animals make when they're about to regurgitate. And I heard it and I was like, okay, there's no stopping it. This is the body. This is the body doing the body thing. And then it came out, and he just looked at it like he was kind of like, okay, phew, that's out. And of course, I had to then stop him from wanting to eat it, because that's also a thing about animals. Okay. Oh, so yeah. If you are without pets at this moment in your life path, this is one reason why you might decide not to embark on that journey. So, oh dear. All right, friends, let's take a moment to just be. Let's just bundle back inward. So if you'll join me for a few moments of silence, if you'd like to close your eyes, you may. If you want to keep them open and gaze out the window, that's lovely too. I'm going to close my eyes. So let's do that. Let's find our way of centering inward, feeling the body, minding the breath, letting everything come in and allowing everything to move out. That ripple, that rising inward, and that letting go outward. And follow those waves in and out. Letting them be exactly what they are. And just a few more breaths. And then let's take one collective breath in through the nose together and a big sigh out of the mouth together. Yeah. So welcome in again. If you've joined us a little bit later than from when we started, welcome. What we'll be doing today is talking a little bit about what is real and happening in the moment for each of us. I'll do a reading from this book called Constellations. I've been choosing one word each week to reflect upon. Then we'll share the things that are keeping us grounded and resourced. Then we will choose a card from this deck called the Flower Speaks deck and see kind of what the oracle, what is from behind the curtain, what wants to be seen for us today. And so I'll choose a card for us. We'll read about that. And then if we have time, I might close with a poem from, where did it go? From the beloved Mary Oliver from her book, Blue Horses. Okay. And then we'll close the circle, take some breaths, and then be on our merry ways. Okay. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. That's the goal. All right. So if you would join me in the chat box, I'd love to check in and hear how you're doing in this moment. I like to kind of focus on 3 words because that's a nice way to harness it. So what are 3 words that describe how you're feeling in this moment? So we'll have a little silence to draw those words up. And then if you would share those in the chat box. Okay. Wonderful. Oh, I love seeing these words come in. Yeah, keep them coming, keep them flowing. So before we start reading through these words, I noticed that Miriam is back, and Miriam did such a beautiful job sharing with us kind of an overview of what the Saturn Neptune energy has been. And Miriam, I don't know if you are, I don't want to put you on the spot, but here I am putting you on the spot. Do you have any planetary wisdom or kind of insights? And just to give some context, Miriam is a student in my husband's Nightlight Astrology group, and she's also, I think, doing readings now, which is pretty amazing. Sort of, she says. So, Miriam, could you give us kind of the cosmic pulse? Like, what is happening in this moment that we're meeting planetarily that might give us some larger, broader context for the things that might be showing up?
Ashley, thank you so much for asking me. I do feel a little like, because I've just had sort of a personal upheaval happen yesterday, and I've been all about that and so to say, I mean, there's so much going on right now, especially in Pisces and Aries. We still have that fire. I'm feeling the Aries energy and seeing the Aries energy and feeling somehow the connection also to Jupiter. And Jupiter's exalted in Cancer, but he's been retrograde, and my ascendant is Cancer, and so like it's all sort of personal. I'm a little self-absorbed right now, so it's really hard to say, but sometimes what we experience ourselves can be mirrored in everybody else. So I would say I'm really looking to Venus right now, because Venus is hanging out with Saturn and Neptune, and Venus is the goddess, love, sisterhood, which I feel so much of here. And so I'm looking for the beauty in difficult situations and in any of the obstacles and any of the fire that's happening. That's about all I can kind of say right now. I hope that's.
That was exactly right. That was perfect. Thank you. And it's through the personal lens that some of this, that we can feel it through you. I can feel the hope of Venus. And it's that collective Artemis energy, right? That we're all like, what is our staff or weapon? Like, what are we, like, how are we going to fight this good fight? But also, yeah, not forget the Cancerian mothering that we all need too. So that was a beautiful call to Jupiter and Venus, and to the still happening Saturn, um, Saturn and Neptune. So thank you so much. Uh, Takes a village, y'all. It really takes a village to pull it all together. So thank you for that. I'm going to read through our words now, and let's just see, maybe in the context of that, what we are bringing into the cauldron, or into the soup today of today's Gentle Friday meeting. We've got shaky, tentative, creative, determined, frustration, retention, grateful, tired, cramping muscles, and menstrual energy. Yeah, menstrual in one word, menstrual. I get that. Darcy, quickening, dynamic grace. Yeah, can you feel that bubbling, that Aries in a lot of these? Grounded, spacious, and small. Peace, relaxation, gratitude. Anxious, joyful, grateful. Peaceful, trusting, prepared. Peaceful, hopeful, grateful. Rising, contemplating, releasing. Trepidatious, apathy, sleeping. Prayerful, worried, jazzed. I like that, Cheryl. Rattled. Yeah, do you feel that? Isn't there like a rattling? Don't I drum every morning? That's part of my own spiritual practice. I made a goat skin hand drum. And every morning since September, I wake up and I do my daily sit when no one's awake, not even the dogs, and then I drum. And there's something, I think, that drumming, rattling, keeping the beat, um, that is so powerful in this moment. So if you're feeling rattled, maybe you need to rattle. If you're feeling like your heart is clenched, drum that out. These are just some ideas that are popping into my head right now. Tired, a little run down, hopeful. Yeah, it was nice to see some sun yesterday. Celia's feeling open, comma, Oh, here we go. She adds more. No, 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 she doesn't. Someone else added to her openness. Dr. April says open comma, replenishing present, grounded, peaceful, but a little stuck. Boom, 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 boom. Anxious, grateful, hopeful, accepting, nourishing self and others. Nice. Overwhelmed, invisible, and faithful. Power and visibility, right? That cloak. It's the seed, right? Heavy, sad, hopeful. This is long, void of course, moon. Yeah. Yeah, that is kind of like there's anxiety when the moon is void of course, like I'm exhausted, but I should be doing something. Mournful, hopeful, witnessing. Joyous comments. Venus moves into Aries today, too. Welcome to your Venus return, Ashley. Yes, I've got my Venus in Aries. Here we go. Thank you, Miriam. Bittersweet Symphony. That's live. Worried, hopeful, strong, time for initiating new beginnings, fearful, gratitude, conflicted, bubbling of rage, maybe silent expectations, but curious, intentional stillness. And I wanted to share this yesterday after school. I took my 7-year-old to the woods, to one of our favorite little parks. And as we were driving through a neighborhood here in Minneapolis, there was this yard that was full of maple trees, and they were all tapped, and they all had these tubes running out into these big buckets. And I was like, sap is rising and it's being harvested. So that bubbling, that rippling, that rattling, that upward surging is we can tap it. Like now is the time to tap that. It's the sap is rising, and so there's a lot of things we can do with that energy, and that is I'm hoping when we read about destiny that we can kind of anchor into that upwards resurgence. And last week I spoke about this pivotal time that we're in seasonally, where we're at the end of winter, but at the beginning of spring. And spring is in the five element system of Chinese medicine, is the wood element. And what is that upward rising, right? Like it's the sap, it's the sprout, it's that, it's everything coming upward. So I think when we can think about that as well, but we're not 100% in spring yet, right? We're not 100%, we're not flowering, at least not a lot of us are not in that yet. We are still tapping, rising, and pulling from the deep waters of winter. And I definitely feel that, which is heavy. Yeah, that is a heavier energy. Masha says worm moon wriggling. Yeah, definitely that underbelly Plutonian. And if I have any Taurus sun, moon, rising sisters, we're heading into our Pluto square. Oofta, as we say up north here. So I am preparing for the underbelly, the Hades work to reveal itself and to start digging through the piles of what needs to be unearthed. So Masha's got Mars and Taurus. So if you have any planets in Taurus, that square from Pluto that's coming in like nowish for a few years, there's some work to be done. And it's always good work. It's not beautiful work. Well, I guess it is beautiful, but it's not, it's often work we didn't see coming. So shoot. Yeah. So here we go. Well, I'm glad to see. Yeah, there's a lot of Taurus energy here. So we'll have to continue to share our stories as that gets unearthed. Yeah. Yeah. All right, let's take a few breaths. All right. So let's read now from David Whyte, Consolations, the Solace, Nourishment, and Underlying Meaning of Everyday Words. Today's word, destiny. Okay, so if you want to close your eyes, if you want to like take a sip of your cozy tea, settle in. Okay, Auntie is going to read to you. Destiny always has a possessor, as in my destiny, or your destiny, or her destiny. It gives a sense of something we cannot avoid, or something waiting for us. It is a word of storybook or mythic dimension. Destiny is hardly used in everyday conversation. It is a word that invites belief or disbelief. We reject the ordering of events by some fated, unseen force, or we agree that there seems to be a greater hand than our own working at the edges of even the most average life. But speaking of destiny, not only grants us a sense of our own possibilities, but gives us an intimation of our flaw. We sense, along with Shakespeare, that what is unresolved or unspoken in human character might overwhelm the better part of ourselves. When we choose between these two poles of mythic triumph or fated failure, we may miss the everyday conversational essence of destiny, our future influenced by the very way we hold the conversation of life itself. Never mind any actions we might take or neglect to take. Two people, simply by looking at the future in radically different ways, have completely different futures awaiting them, no matter their immediate course of action. Even the same course of action, coming from a very different way of shaping the conversation, will result in a different outcome. We are shaped by our shaping of the world and are shaped again in turn. Let me read that again. We are shaped by our shaping of the world and are shaped again in turn. The way we face the world alters the face we see in the world. Strangely, every person always lives out their destiny, no matter what they do, according to the way they shape the conversation. But that destiny may be lived out on the level of consummation or complete frustration through experiencing a homecoming or a distant sense of exile, or more likely, some gradation along the spectrum that lies between. It is still our destiny, our life, but a sense of satisfaction involved and the possibility of fulfilling its promise may depend upon a brave participation, a willingness to hazard ourselves in a difficult world, a certain form of wild generosity with our gifts, a familiarity with our own depth, our own discovered surprising breadth, and always a long practiced and robust vulnerability equal to what any future may offer. Our destiny is fated not only by great powers beyond our own beckoning horizon, but by the very way we shape and hold the everyday conversations of a familiar life. That, my friends, is a drop of wisdom in the cauldron. Yeah. So tell me, either raise your hand if you'd like to comment on this, or take a moment in the chat box to write out what struck you. Like what stood out? And we'll take a minute to see what what we think. It was kind of dense. So it's okay. It's like, okay, what do I grab from that huge, dense pie? Um, I also think, oh, let's see what you guys say. Martha says, destiny is guided by how we hold what we experience, what we receive. Yeah. Darcy says, posture, not action in the conversation. Yeah, like how do we hold ourselves in the conversation, not just what we do? Meditation has been helping me lately when I'm under fire, noticeably. Oh, it's beautiful. Yeah. How we shape destiny. And it's crazy that even though we are constantly trying to manipulate and like trick destiny, it still wins. But I guess our experience of it is part of it. Yeah. Joan says, we shape the world and in turn are shaped by the world. Yeah, that part, right? Like we're participating in it. And by that participating, it's molding us. Yeah, very well captured. The way we face the world changes the face of the world. Yeah. The way we shape the world then shapes the way we are and then reshaped it. It's like a cyclical spiral. I loved it and feel it means that our attitude is everything. And I'm going to keep mine on gratitude and positivity. I love that, Joyous. Lynn says, I'm processing coming to terms with my ADHD nowadays. And I didn't hear much, even if I read the transcript. Yeah. And so that's kind of like that, what Shakespeare says is like our own flaws. Like even in our part of destiny is that we're going to have to face that, all of the hard stuff in the story that we're making, right? Yeah. Right. I'm thinking of Darcy and the broken wrist and like that radical moment where we say, I'm going to take this and I'm going to take this in a new direction. I'm going to get really curious about what this simple twist of fate. Do you guys know that song by Bob Dylan, Simple Twist of Fate? Oh my gosh. It's like the longest. It's like a Shakespearean song about destiny. So if you want to experience that, I would listen to the Jerry Garcia band version or the Grateful Dead version of Simple Twist of Fate. Look that up and like close your eyes and put it on your earphones and just like you'll go on a journey through fate and destiny and all these little stories of people's lives. It's a fantastic musical interpretation, I think, of this passage too. Masha says the process of kairos, capturing the subtlety of cosmic organization and the cyclicality in the pinpoint of a charged moment, surrendered but dignified. Yeah, I love that, Masha. Yeah. Hmm. Trim tabs. Trim tabs. I've never heard that word, but maybe you could tell us more. Small shifts of perspective can bring destiny into consciousness. Yeah. Kelly says, I loved the quote you repeated about shaping, our shaping the world and the world shaping us, and the way that we shape things, influencing it all. It made me want to approach things in a more expansive and unknown sort of way, approaching more from this place of unknown or knowing nothing, more open and curious and alive. Yeah, beautiful. Katie and Dexter, I'll get to you in just a second. I'm going to read a few more and then we'll open the platform. Emily, even two people walking a similar path are shaped by different experiences and will have their own destinies that can't escape the light stepping stones of our own past. Yeah, I was thinking about this and how, like, this comparing we often do with people in our own field. Like, why does that herbalist get, why do they have 1 million followers? Or, like, why did they just get 500 likes when, when I didn't, right? And it's like, well, they're on their own path. And how do I have no idea what their experience is. And so better to not covet or grasp after their successes when, it's not we're comparing apples and oranges. We may look on the outside like we're on the same path, but there's absolutely very different destinies. Okay, thank you, Dr. April. The trim tab theory was developed by Buckminster Fuller. It's the tiny hinged rudder attached to a ship's larger rudder. It requires much less energy to move the ship. Ah, yeah, Lori, I'm with you. I'm going to add that to my vocab now. So it's the tiny rudder on the bigger rudder that uses less energy to make those like little course corrections, is kind of what I'm imagining. Is that right? Okay. Thank you, Dr. April. I love that. Yeah. I feel like sailing and boat um symbols and like words, they feel so relevant. Like the word doldrum. Do you all know that word? That's another sailing term. I learned it when I was in my 20s when I was doing my yoga teacher training. So the doldrums are when the wind stops. So if you have a sailboat, you're screwed. Like you're just sitting there, you're in the doldrum. It's its own world. So you have to just wait until the wind picks up and then, then your sails can move. And I love that because that's like February and March for many of us, is we're waiting for the wind to pick up, or like void of course moon. There's nothing you can do. It's way beyond your capacity. You can't make the wind blow. So what do you do with that doldrum? So yeah, there's another, we'll add that into the cauldron of our new vocab. Yeah. The void has its own gifts. Absolutely. Being on the leading edge doesn't always reflect the current collective. Path cutting isn't always popular. Yeah. A lot of English words are sailing words. Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah. Cool. My brother once said we live the same life, but he had no idea. Wait, where did it go? Where did that? My brother once said we lived the same life, but he had no idea what experiences I was living. It was really an interesting window into the human experience of me. Yeah. And in the first episode of the latest Queer Eye, I love that show, had two sisters who had vastly different experiences, and the episode covered how they learned from each other. Yeah, I used to watch that show a lot. I didn't even know it was still on. Cool. Yeah. Just floating in the Piscean waters. Yeah, I feel like Pisces are really good at that. Void, of course, like doldrums are just like, I'm gonna float. And I'm like, show me how. Oh, all right, Katie, let's hear from you, honey. Can you unmute?
Did I unmute myself earlier?
I don't know.
Oh, I don't know either. I'm on my phone and the tech gremlins are active. Um, no, what kind of came to mind is I was working with Persephone a few years ago and had a pretty powerful meditation where the topic of our myth. We all have a myth. We all have a story. We're all the villain in somebody else's story.
Mm.
But what really came through during that meditation was her saying that I didn't write my story. Others wrote my story. I write my own story. Don't let others write yours for you.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah. And that's that reshaping, isn't it? That's we have this larger shaper, but then how, like within the conversation, we have our voice to say the story again. And that, yeah, not to let other people take that away from us. And I feel like as a parent, that's such a tricky thing, isn't it? Like my daughters, I have to remember that my little Leo um, she's got Mars in the first house. And she is like, no, mom, you are not going to write my story. You are not going to tell me the things I can and cannot do. And part of my job is to keep guardrails because, like, it's danger. There's danger. It's real. So, how do I create strong guardrails and then let her fly? Let her ride that horse as fast as she wants with the guardrails. So we'll see how that ends up. So any other shares about destiny or sailing words that we want to add to the mix before we talk about self-care practices? Brandy has a 4-year-old Mars and Leo in the first. Send help. Yeah. Oh, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Actually, oh, my microphone is muted. I don't,
Oh, did you want to share?
yes,
Oh,
sorry, I'm on my iPhone. So I'm not, it's like it's new to me because I always do on my iPad. This is Joan.
hi, Joan.
Yeah, I just wanted, just listening today reminds me of the Invictus poem. I discovered this poem because of the last two words of that poem that says, I'm the master of my fate and I'm the captain of my soul. But if you should read that poem, which I have it in front of me, I can quickly go through it. It is so, when I first discovered it, it does something to me that it always grounds me in time of chaos, in times of uncertainty. I always go back and read it, and I can quickly go through it if you allow.
Joan, honey, would you not go quickly through it? Would you just read it for us, like
Okay,
in your full, like,
okay,
Joan-ness?
okay. So it's called Invictus by William Ernest Henley. It says, out of the night that covers me, black as the pit from pole to pole, I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. In the fell clutch of circumstance, I have not winced nor cried aloud. Under the bludgeoning of chance, my head is bloody but unbowed. But this, no, beyond this place of wrath and tears, looms but the horror of the shade, and yet the menace of the years find and shall find me unafraid. It matters not how straight the gate, how charged the punishment the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. That's it.
Mm,
Yes.
yes. Thank you, Joan.
You're
Wow.
welcome. I'm going to mute myself again. Try to.
That line about like my head may be bloody and bludgeoned, but I do not let it bow. Oh,
Yes, honestly. And when you think of what's going on now, and when we participate, as the previous reading stated, listening, feeling, just resonating with the folks who are actually in the fire, and you tell yourself, my head is blooded, but unbowed. Wow.
thank you. Yeah. Gosh, we all have such medicine. And I agree. Some of you in the comments are like, yeah, this is special. This is what we're doing right now. We're feeding the well. Each of our community wells are being fed with our voices today. So thank you. And Joan, if you wouldn't mind, maybe writing the name and the author of that poem, I'm sure a lot of us would like to, like you offered, like revisit it when things are feeling challenging. I know I would too.
Yes, I will. I will.
Thank you. Thank you. Ah, Joan is a student in my herbal apprenticeship and has been for many years. And I always love when you come on and share your wisdom with us. Okay. Um, so that was Joan's sharing of something that is feeding her, and she goes back to what about other voices? Like what are you reaching to? Is there a poem? Is there an herb? Sorry, I'm wiping my eyes. That got me. That was good. Um, what else? What else is speaking to your souls that you might share into this space today? Oh, good. Masha.
Um, well, that that poem, like, I'm still processing that now. But the what I really gravitate toward is the astrology and seeing how it fits into the greater purpose of what I feel my life is like aiming toward, even if I don't necessarily know what that is going to look like concretely. I can't tell anybody what's going to happen even in the next few months. Um, but there's this sense of I've always considered the Saturn and Neptune's transit through Pisces as being the womb of the collective consciousness, and everything that's been growing in the womb of collective consciousness, like the Star Child from 2001: Space Odyssey, is being birthed through like with that Saturn and Neptune stationing in Aries. And Saturn is the vaginal canal, and Neptune is the process of the actual like birth itself, and Aries is the conduit and the baby. Um, and for me, and obviously that depends on everybody's charts and what's activating the houses, the topics. And for me, it's been activating this sense of completion with things that happened at the beginning of my Saturn return. Now my Saturn return is officially over, and the lunar eclipse was like this finality, this closing of the chapter. But meanwhile, Jupiter, the ruler of the Wheel of Fortune, is exalted in this zodiac sign that represents materiality incarnate. And it's kind of this tensile moment in retrograde, like a wind-up toy that's waiting to be released. And like you said, the doldrums, but it's in our like present perspective of it that it seems suspended in a time outside of time. But like when I think about it from a different perspective, it's like a rubber band that's reached its its longest point and it's about to be released. And then when it does get released, it's gonna wham, and there's gonna be a reversal of fortunes. And that's kind of, that's what Jupiter presides over. And that's kind of the process of spring too, this reversal of the seasons that happens like really quickly if you think about it. Because winter just it's always like this portal that feels eternal, but then as soon as the sun starts shining, it's like things become it's a quickening. I really
Yeah.
loved what somebody said about quickening. Um, so yeah, those are my thoughts. And it gives me comfort to like kind of steep in that. Because I feel like I don't know, it makes it feel like the horrific things in the world are less meaningless, and that there's a collective shift happening, and that working on a human to human level is meaningful. That, that just because the news media presents like a totally warped reality, that we don't have to feed into that. We can ground ourselves and stay present with what really matters, which is human connection and the love that we have for each other, and the care that we can offer with our different unique skills. And I feel that through just like seeing the planets and like I don't know if I can truly convey the awe that I have when I can bear witness.
Masha, that was so beautiful. Yeah, what you described is so hopeful, right? And yeah, I guess I didn't think about this collective birthing, and I love the rubber band. Like that you did such a beautiful job giving us imagery that we can hold on to so that, yeah, we can hold these images of the planets to help us through too. Because I think if you get stuck in the news cycles, that's a dangerous place to stay for too long. So thank you so much. Beautiful sharing. Lisa,
Hi, Ashley. Hi, everybody.
hi.
Hi, nice to meet you. I found you because I started in Adam's meditation group, and today I had some time to join. So that was like a huge gift because I just feel this huge heart opening and centering here and like a big warm hug. So thanks for everybody, and thanks for the wisdom and for hosting this for us because it's really palpable.
Mm,
Um, these spaces are just seemingly more and more and more important with everything going on. And um, so I wanted to just thank you for that and thank everybody. And then also, I'm not on camera because I wasn't feeling my best this morning. But I also feel like it's nice to hear a voice. Like I'm a podcast lover and stuff, and I used to love listening to the radio. And I sometimes it's just nice to hear a voice. Um, so I wanted to also return to the beginning of the meeting because Emily had shared that she may be losing her animal today. And I just wanted to let her know and anybody else going through that my heart is really with you. I went through that a couple of years ago and it was the biggest grief, and like transformative experience of my life. And I just want to send Emily so much love and strength. And I did send you, Emily, like a private message. Um, Over a year and a half, I ended up developing a a grief platform for animal parents because it really hasn't existed before. So I sent that in a private message to Emily just she, in case you ever feel that you need some support in your own time. It's completely self-guided and it's very holistic and there's a very spiritual, deep basis to it. So I just wanted to acknowledge um, her animal and send a lot of peace for her animal's transition. And sorry, it's still so hard.
yeah.
And whenever I think of or hear of somebody else approaching that space, my heart just, really goes out to anybody experiencing that.
Yeah.
Um, Sorry.
Mm.
Also, I wanted to read something. I've lived in Mexico for most of my adult life, although I'm sorry, but unfortunately I'm back in the States right now. Um but and I have been since COVID. And it's interesting when you are an expat in another country and experiencing things in culturally that are difficulties in different countries, and like trying to not make judgments about the way different countries are run. I mean, it's very hard, but I think I noticed like lots of biases about Mexico with the reaction to the cartel guy being, unalived. And it just felt like, well, look what's going on here. And we can't really judge. But, anyways, so that brought me to something I came across this morning. A wonderful, wonderful woman I'm sure many of you have heard of, and her name was Maria Sabina. She was a healer who worked with psilocybin mushrooms outside of Oaxaca, and she was known as a cunadera, which is like a medicine woman or medicine healer in a village. And she I came across a couple of quotes that I thought were really nice, so I'd love to share if that's okay.
Of course. Thank you, Lisa.
Okay, so she said, heal yourself with the kisses that the wind gives you and the hugs of the rain. Cure yourself with the light of the sun and the rays of the moon, with the sound of the river and the waterfall, with the swaying of the sea and the fluttering of the birds. I am wise even from within the womb of my mother. I am the woman of the winds, of the water, of the paths, because I am known in heaven, because I am a doctor woman. Get strong with bare feet on the ground and with everything that is born from it. Heal yourself with beautiful love and always remember you are the medicine.
Wow. I love that. Thank you so much, Lisa.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, and please do, if you wouldn't mind posting the link to the pet grief resource. I think there's quite a few people on here that would really benefit.
Okay, sure.
Thank you.
Could I
Oh,
ask one more thing? Could I ask one more thing?
sure.
Okay, I'll post it. This is pretty confidential, but I want this resource to be completely free to everybody. And it's currently in the hands of a very large pet company where I want it to be housed. And if anybody on here could just say a little prayer talking about destiny.
Mm,
I'm just in a phase of like having to be in a liminal space waiting for an answer from them. And it's really not about me, it's about all the people that are dealing with what and facing what Emily's facing today. And I feel that it would be a fantastic, wonderful thing for an actual organization to get behind it and acknowledge this kind of grief for their
mm.
customers. So if anybody could just cross your fingers, say a prayer, it would
Yes,
really help.
of
Thanks.
course. We
I
would be
believe in the
happy.
power of prayer.
I do too. So let's do it. If we have an altar or a practice or even just one big breath we could take, and let's just do it together. Let's take one big
Thank
breath
you.
in and send the Pet Grief Project energy and support to free itself from unnecessary restrictions and to find its way to just the right hands who can make it accessible to all. All right.
Thank you so much.
You are so welcome, Lisa.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh. All right, friends. Well, we are at the final minutes, so I'm going to pull our plant card. And this card will be one that will help guide the week ahead. And I do this every week. Um, is like what is from the great unknown, the great unseen, the great void. What is some wisdom that can be gifted to us to help us move through the moment we're in and move forward in the week ahead? We can think of it like a mantra or a beacon of light, a plant promise to guide us all collectively forward. So let's see, what do you have for us, Great Spirit? Okay. So there were two. Sometimes that happens. So the action card is creativity, and this is the pistil and the stamen. It's the male and female parts of the plant. So when you pull this card as the action card, it kind of tells us kind of what position to take. So what is the creative next step? How can we use our music, our art, our writing as expressions of the energy, this rising that we're feeling? And that goes so well with this card. That was the one. This is our plant card, the cosmos, and its expression. Let me see if I can get it to, it likes my face too much. I've trained it. There we go. Can you see it now? Isn't that beautiful? Do you guys know this plant? So look at this beautiful woman. She's got her hands outstretched. She's like summoning creative forces through the cosmos. So let me read to you from the book, the poem associated with this and some parting words. I already like it. Okay. You, woman of my soul, I remember your little hands summoning the wind to bring me close to you. There are stories I need you to tell me of the ancient voices calling, of the threads of distant music that are woven in the wind. Your love song is my garment now, like the powdered wings of butterflies. I hold it high about me. I let the wind take hold. Yes, you watch me sail the breath of life. I remember you now. You are the wind voice of the cosmos, dancing around and within me, empowering me to be free. So, don't you love how the cosmic mind brought together all of the sailing metaphors? The poem of the wind touching your face is the healer that Lisa shared with us. The being free and that rubber band of expansion that who was that, Masha, that brought in? I feel like everyone's voices came together, and this idea of destiny. You watch me. That's that higher self, that bigger cosmos. You are the wind voice of cosmos dancing around and within me, empowering me to be free. And there's Jones, like, you can't take my freedom. You can bash my head, but I will not bow, right? So this card is about self-expression, honesty, speaking. In a reading, it shows up in a situation where beauty and love are expressed with deep emotion. Words are and sounds are accented with meaningful gestures. There's that destiny, right? Like that shaping us shaping others. Words and sounds creating a mood or interest. Perhaps it is you who is finally speaking honestly about your feelings. You are finding it easier to share with others what you have hidden in your heart for too long. This can only be advantageous. Okay. Oh, well, if that isn't beautiful, I don't know what is. There's that Venus that we felt with Miriam's call to Venus, reminding us of the birthing of Venus that's happening today in Aries. So there's the goddess expressing herself through the beauty. This deck is called the Flower Speaks deck. If any of you like it, you can find it on eBay. It is out of print. So what a beautiful cauldron soup we've created together, a nourishing soup of poetry and meaning and planets and plants. Let's close our eyes, take a few breaths, let it really soak in to our cells. And that little rudder, right? That little rudder that Dr. April shared, like, let us remember that it doesn't take, if we let the waters or the winds guide, it's a lot less energy. It requires a lot less energy. All right, let's take a deep breath in, a big sigh out. The trim tab, thank you. This has been a most excellent adventure, friends, to quote from Bill and Ted. Um, thank you for bringing your whole selves, for participating in each your own unique ways. And we will have another meeting next Friday, the 12th. I would love to see some of you come back. And I'm going to be out of town for the following 2 weeks. But if there is an arising within my own cells to bring this back up, starting in April, keep your eyes out because I think it might happen. So I'm feeling that happening. So yeah, be excellent to each other and party on, dudes. All right, till next time. Love you all too. Bye. Hey friends, welcome in. Today I want to share with you a bit about my upcoming herbal apprenticeship course. This course is called Herbal Foundation, and it's a wonderful way for you to be engaged in plant learning. You'll learn how to make your own home apothecary, how to grow plants, and how to learn the names of plants that grow right around you. Let's start at the Sky House Herb School page. Go to the Herbal Foundation's apprenticeship. You can learn all the details about this upcoming course and the types of things you'll learn. Our Vitalist approach will teach you ways of viewing the body and the plants from an ancient traditional perspective. You'll learn the language of hot, cold, damp, and dry, the 6 tissue states, and ways of making the elements come alive right in front of your eyes. One thing that people love about this class is you'll get a chance to take the herbs into your body and build a relationship with 20 different plants. We use a pairing method. You can compare and contrast 2 herbs that are often thought of as similar, but you will learn how different they really are. In this course, we will have live classes where you will get a chance to ask your questions, do a review of the course material, and also be together in community and talk about how the plants are affecting us and how are we applying this information into our daily lives. Let's take a look now at the Sky House course itself. When you register, you will get access to our course page, which includes welcome content. You'll have slides that you can download, access to journal pages and worksheets, plant pairing information for each of the plants, and some optional reading to use. We provide you with supportive activities like sensory meditations, journal questions, and plant walk guides. Also included are plant info sheets, and many students like to print these out and save them. We'll give you detailed information, including actions, energetics, botanical names, and things that I know about these plants from my own clinical practice. You'll learn traditional uses, dosage, and safety, and we'll always provide you with references and sources so you can learn about these plants on your own. Once a month, we'll meet together in community. We'll talk about the plants, what we're learning, and the questions that we have. All of these are recorded and will be saved on the course platform right here. Some highlights from the course are visualizing your own herbal sanctuary, imagining an apothecary that you can easily reach to and access for all of your own health and your family health needs. Students love learning about the 4 elements and how these translate into your work with the plants. We will go step by step through the 4 elements. All of their fundamentals. We'll cover the herbs that are most associated with each of these elements and what these elements look like when they're in balance and also when they're out of balance. I'll bring you into my kitchen and show you how to make your own folk remedies. And at the end, we'll review every single herb that we've taken and studied so you can more deeply understand at that next level how this herb works, remember how it affected you, and how you might talk about this herb and share it with others. One of my favorite pieces is sharing with you clinical data, facts from science and clinical trials that will show us exactly how these herbs work in the body. And along that line, also how we can safely use these herbs in practice. And a favorite piece is sharing student experiences from my 13 years of teaching this course. If you're interested in learning more and you'd like to enroll, you can enroll right on the website. Go to skyhouseherbs.com, scroll down, and you'll see our enrollment payment options. You can pay the early bird rate, click on 12 payments, and you'll see the monthly rate. If you need financial support, we do offer need-based tuition. Click on tuition assistance and you fill out an application to see your eligibility for need-based pricing. If you have any questions, please reach out to me at info@skyhouseherbs.com. Let me know your questions, your thoughts, what you're excited about for this course, and I hope to see you in the Foundations program.